Alrighty, so today we're going to be doing an LR tier list. The top 10 LRs, kind of, but I felt that, trying to piece this together in the format of like a regular 1 to 10, Tech UI being included on this list, people aren't going to like where I place him no matter what. If I put him at 2, people aren't going to be happy with that. If I put him at 5, people aren't going to be happy with that. 3, 4, etc., right? Number 1, I'm sure most of you probably know who it is, but I think that putting them in tiers, I think, would be a little bit safer of a play, just to give you guys discussion and kind of keep it positive, right? If a unit is in the S or the A tier, they are still a top 10 LR in the game, in my opinion, but I am going to try and branch these to the best of my ability. So, let me know down below, before we get started, what is your current top 10? Where would you put these characters? And if you have any disagreements, feel free to let me know down below. It's all positivity around here, so don't worry if we disagree on something. It's just the way that we play the game. So keep in mind, this is just my opinion. This is through my experience playing the game, and most of these characters are being evaluated with their performance for me on JP. But because UI Goku has been announced on Global and I've seen enough of him, I feel comfortable enough to put him and the Tanabata EZAs with 17 and 17 of Frieza on this list, despite this being a global version. We're bending the rules just a little bit, but I feel like that is a kind of fair comparison to make, or a fair decision. So I didn't include Jiren because he is not confirmed yet, and Tech Jiren I don't believe is in the top 10 for me right now. So keep that in mind. Again, just my opinion, just for fun, to have a little bit of discussion. So let's get into it. The first thing, right? None of these characters are A tier. The A tier is simply just there to get it started. So let's get started with the S tier, and the first character I want to put in this S tier is going to be Boo-Tanks, or Buhan. Now, Buhan is an absolute ace on the Majin Power team. The Majin Power team is very meta relevant right now. There are a lot of good characters that are being ran on that team. Physical EZA, Super EZA, Kid Boo, Mr. Boo's EZA, the Int Exchange, or not Int Exchange Boo, but the Int Fat Boo, the Tech Exchange Boo, AGL Super Boo, you can sneak in certain situations, right? The Tech Skinny Boo that we got for the support unit with Int Majin Boo. A lot of really good characters on this team, and Buhan is sort of like still probably the most impressive of the bunch, with the action break that he has when he's transforming on his 24 key, when he has the dodge ability, the guard that he's going to be able to doing, the healing that team has. This is kind of like the best character on the team, but the fact that he is like, in that 8 to 10 range for me in the top 10, that is why he's in the S tier. But this is all in all just a phenomenal unit, and I think a lot of people, especially a lot of global players and people in my audience, probably have like fresh accounts for this 9th anniversary, and don't have access to this character as well as a lot of the Majin Power team. But once you kind of get a grasp and have this kind of a couple of the characters on this team in your account and you're using them, I think you'll realize how impressive this Boo-Tanks, especially when he transforms into Buhan, can look. So that's why I have him down in S tier. Again, S tier, still a top 10 LR in the game in my opinion. He is teetering a little bit. Once Jiren is like added to the list, I would probably push him down, as well as Tech Jiren would probably push him off the list. But again, it is close. So again, not including Jiren, so this guy's still going to be there. And then continuing the trend of the S tier, I'm going to put the Gamas. I think the Gamas are an extremely, extremely impressive unit, but the issue with them is they are a little bit dependent on orb changing and stuff like that, and you're really going to need to get those orbs if you want to use them and have them be efficient defensively. I have used the Gamas now multiple times on my global account because I didn't get them on JP, but there's a lot of times where I find them being a little bit suspect defensively, and that is simply because I could not get their orbs, even though despite me wanting to try and get them, right? Sometimes the situation just isn't perfect. Having a rainbow orb changer is nice, but sometimes they'll change the wrong orbs, and then all of a sudden the Gamas can't look their best. But when you get that standby, you have all that going, and they can look extremely impressive, especially with their core breaker. They can put up some really major damage, and all in all, it is a very impressive unit. But I would probably keep them down here. I think that this is a bit of a tricky spot for them, because superheroes, they hardly even make the cut on right now, and that's crazy to say, but they really don't, especially when, Global starts to get some of these Tournament of Power units. Not 17 in Frieza, unfortunately, and I believe 17 as well, because Frieza's in the art. I believe he doesn't count as well. So it's like superheroes is an extremely tough cut to make, and that is why I don't have them on here. Or that's why I have them down in the S tier. So the Gamas in the S tier. Let's go ahead and move on up to S+. And in S+, this is where a majority of the characters are going to be. Let's start with Broly. I think this Broly is extremely impressive, but one of his big drawbacks is just right now, domains are very, very tricky, because one of the better units in the game, being this UI Goku, is going to have a domain. And if you want to run this guy and Broly under the domain, or under the Beast Gohan leader skill, you are going to have to pick one. And 10 times out of 10, you're taking the UI Goku domain, right? And that is why it is very tricky to kind of give this character the love that he needs, because again, you don't want to transform with him because domains can't overlap, right? You pop the UI Goku domain and then you cannot transform into full power Broly, and then you are going to be missing out on a lot of the damage that he can potentially do, the extra defense that you get. And then also, you have to keep in mind that if you do go into that domain while running him under the Beast Gohan leader skill, all of the characters on your team are going to be susceptible to more damage because, you know, he debuffs superclass enemies as well as allies with damage taken. So that is something that we have to heavily consider when we are building teams, and that is why he is in S+. A very, very, very good character, but unfortunately has a few drawbacks that are a bit annoying and hold him back from being in, like, you know, my personal top 5. So Broly in S+. Let's move on to the next character in S+, and that is going to be his counterpart, Carnival Gogeta. Now, Carnival Gogeta, again, I'm going to say this basically about every character, but extremely impressive. I adore this unit, but again, dodge or die in this meta is very tough, because dodge or die typically means if you don't dodge an attack, it is a over 1 million damage normal. And not many characters in the game are built to withstand, you know, 1 million, 1.5 million damage normals, and not also keep in mind there are supers that are hitting for as hard as 5.8 million on JP, something around there, and that is right around the corner on global as well. So you do have to keep that in mind, that when you are dodge or die, if you do not have your taunt activated with this Gogeta blue, especially when you're in blue, it is going to be tricky, and this is a character that absolutely can get caught in the base form, especially in some of these tougher fights that are on the way. I think all in all, though, being a defensive stacker, having the transformation, having the taunt with guaranteed dodges, when you can use Gogeta's taunt properly, it is objectively better than Beast Gohan's, right? The only thing that you could say that's better about Beast Gohan's is that you are getting the key support for the rotation in case there aren't any hits in slot 1. But the thing is, like, Gohan can potentially take damage on his taunt turn, especially in these newer fights. Not a lot, but some, when Gogeta, like I said, objectively, if you can dodge, will take 0. So 0 damage is better than 1 damage. Is it minuscule? Absolutely. But is it something to at least note? Sure. But here's the issue, right? Gogeta's taunt, despite it being better, quote unquote, is a lot harder to get. Beast Gohan's you can have as quick as turn 3, and you're good to go. You can have it whenever you're going to need it. Gogeta's, you're going to have to do a lot more build up to get to that taunt, right? You're going to have to transform, which could take, especially if they're in slot 7, it's going to take a very long time to get that taunt out. And then compared to Beast Gohan, like I said, you take 1 hit, you're going to have it the next time you see him. So again, Gogeta, very, very good unit. Offensively, defensively. If he wasn't dodge or die, I'd feel a little bit better about placing him a bit higher maybe, but again, being it's not like dodge or take a lot of damage, it's dodge or lose the fight, and that's why I can't put him any higher than S+, but again, a very impressive character. And you guys can see there are some real behemoths here coming up. So to round out the S+ tier, I'm going to put 17 and Universe 7. This is a character, I think that it's more important that we go into the kit so I can kind of explain this one to you a little bit more. But just know that this guy is putting up some very impressive numbers on one of the best teams in the game. Let's pull up his kit now so we can break him down just a little bit. Okay, so we are back over here, and with this character, Android 17, why is he so good? You can see on his 18 key super attack, he's giving support. On his 12 key super attack, he's also giving support, right? He's raising his attack, we're getting crit chance, we're getting defense on these supers. One problem, right? He's restricted, right? That is kind of the big thing with this character. Very good, like I said, how many times have I said impressive in this video, right? But this character is phenomenal. He may be the phenomenal one, you could say. But with this character, like I said, he is very restricted to being ran on the Universe 7 team. And when that is a thing, it's just very tricky, right? Because you think about a character like AGL UI Goku or Beast Gohan, it's superheroes, it's Bond Master and Disciple, Entrusted Will, Miraculous Awakening, you know, categories like that. Like, obviously Entrusted Will is not a team, but you get what I mean, right? Like, if UI Goku is on a team, you are running him. If Beast Gohan is on a team, you are running him. 17, on the other hand, not running him on Join Forces, right? Because Join Forces is beyond Universe 7. These 3 teams, I could concede that you would be running him on. So it's like most of the teams that he's on, he is good, but it's the allies that you have to run around him, right? If you want to run Universal Survival Saga, you are going to be restricting yourself from running Topo, running Jiren, the new STR Dispo, Jiren's EZA, right? That's 4 really good characters that you could potentially be running on like a Tournament of Power team that you aren't going to be able to run if you want to run this Universe 7, because we need 5 or more reps of U7 category allies on the team. So it's like, this character is really good. You know, you could easily say like Z tier or S plus in their respective team, but it's the fact that it's literally just a one-trick pony on this character that, you know, it's very tough to kind of like put them higher, just because I do value the ability to be ran on more than just one setup. But if you want to talk about just on their best setup, this is absolutely one of the best characters in the game, and I still think they are very, very, very good. So everything that they're doing with the support, and then they're also doing, you know, 2 to 3 super attacks, all hitting like, you know, 12, 13 million plus each for a lot of good damage. They have a nice little active skill. They're giving support. We have damage reduction, orb changing, all of that fun stuff. So that's why I have them where I have them. Easy S plus, and I'm completely okay with where I have them. So that's going to round out the S plus tier. Let's go ahead and get into Z, and the first character I want to talk about in Z is going to be 17 and Frieza. I think 17 and Frieza are phenomenal. We can actually just pull them up. For these later units, I just want to, especially the ones that you guys haven't seen on Global yet, I feel like it'd be good to just pull these guys up, right? No, not the link tool. I just want to pull them up. Can I do that? There we go. Very, very good character. This is one you guys can see here, raising their defense on the 18 key, doing a lot of supers. You can see right here, key +7 and reduces damage you receive by 50% for 1 turn. 2 additional attacks, an additional super attack, and you can see here, attack and defense up to 100% with each super attack performed, and each attack performed, they're getting 17% damage reduction. And this is a character most of the time that's doing 4 to 5 attacks per turn. This is going to, you know, round up pretty damn quick, right? 4 attacks is 68% damage reduction. 5 attacks is 85% damage reduction, right? It can get wicked really quickly. So this is a character that you are going to be seeing high damage reduction, basically invincibility, you'd feel like, especially in slot 2 or slot 3. And these guys are not, when it comes to categories, they're a bit restricted, but this is a unit that you can run outside of other teams, right? Or outside of the Universe 7 team. Nowhere in this passive does it say you have to have reps of Universe 7 allies on the team. So that's why I have them above Android 17, right? You go down here, you could see Battle of Wits, Battle of Fate, Join Forces. The other 3 teams are, these 4 teams are the same, but Battle of Fate and Battle of Wits are like 2 decent teams, and you can run, they're like, you know, borderline must run unit on those teams because of just how good they are in the 2nd and the 3rd slot. They're basically invincible in that spot. You guys have to understand that 68% damage reduction while you're raising your attack and defense on all of these, right? Especially with supers, if you do like 3 supers, that's a 60% defensive increase with a, what is that, 17, 30, 51% damage reduction increase, right? That's really impressive, and this is a very, very good character. Basically invincible in slot 2 and slot 3, and that is why I have them as high as they do. So now we're going to move to the big boys, the big 4. Y'all are wondering where I'm going to put these guys. All 3 of them are going in Z tier, and then 1 of them is going into Z plus, being the #1 unit in the game. So here we go, right? I'll loosely order these just for the screenshot. I don't want, you know, people like, if someone just to take a screenshot, they're like, what is this guy talking about? So this is kind of how I would order it, just to kind of round out this tier list. I think AGL UI Goku, turn 1, is the best character in the game. I think that's, that might be a hot take, I'm not sure, but I don't think so. As long as the dodge isn't disabled in turn 1, this character, you cannot hit him. He is doing an 18, 19 million attack stat, guaranteed crit with 24 key. Having Beast Gohan around, it's very easy to get to 24 key. Even if you want to put him at slot 2, right? Like, you put Beast Gohan at slot 1, he gives you the extra 3 key, you get up to 24 key. This is a character that's going to, like I said, do an 18 million attack stat, then a 12 million additional, and then a 13 million additional, all crits at 24 key, right? This is a character that is going to dodge everything you throw at him in that first turn, and then he also has a dodge chance that builds up very quickly when the dodge, guaranteed dodge, wears off. This is going to be, you know, starting at 77, and then it goes to 84, then it goes to 88, or 80, 91, and then 98. And then, you know, basically after that 4th dodge, you're not getting touched. And if there's like 6 attacks in slot 1, you dodge 4 of them, you're feeling safe, right? This character is doing everything that you need him to do. He's going to age very well. And the same could be said about the other 2 above him. I think that, you know, it's the fact that he can get tagged with a normal on a guaranteed hit. that is going to make it tricky. But one thing that you could argue to counter that is that this is going to be a good opportunity, especially in a fight coming up, which is the Goku and Frieza fight. You're going to have a really good opportunity to get that revival that he has on him, and then you can restart that, and then hopefully you maybe want to float him off, get the revive, and then the next turn when he's back to AGL Golden, or the STR Goku and Frieza phase, you'll be able to have his guaranteed dodging as well as his attack buff for that turn on entry, which is going to be that turn after revival. So that is why that character is as good as he is. You guys are experiencing him now on global, so you guys get what I'm talking about. Now, Tech UI. Again, really, it's 2A, 2B, 2C. And Tech UI, I'm not going to put him on Z+, but he is very, very, very good. This domain giving nullifying guaranteed dodging is absolutely, or guaranteed hits is huge. A lot of tough fights, that's one of the gimmicks they like to use, where dodge or die characters are just officially dead in there, but this character is able to kind of work around that. And then he's also going to be giving dodge support in base to the team. So you're throwing UI Goku on with his, like, turn 3 with his 77% baseline damage or dodge chance for the AGL one, and then you're giving him that extra dodge support, which I believe is 10% from Tech UI Goku. So Tech UI Goku, very good leader skill, works very nicely on the Beast Gohan team. He really just makes the team go, and if you wanted to put him above Evolution Blue Vegeta, maybe I'll just do that for the screenshot so people don't get all worked up, but that is why I have him where he is. But however, the caveat, turn 1 he gets hit with a super, especially in these newer fights, you lose. And he can get hit with a super. And UI Goku, the AGL one, cannot, unless dodge is disabled. So that is just one thing that you have to keep in mind. This is a character that could absolutely lose you a run, but when you get him going, you get that domain going, it is just going to be extremely impressive. Evolution Blue Vegeta, really I just have him above UI Goku because of his defensive consistency, always having a baseline 50% damage reduction, combining that with hits, so you're getting hit 3 times, you're up to 80% damage reduction. That is a very tough combo to deal with, especially considering how high his defensive numbers can go, how high his offensive numbers can go. And with the support that Tech UI's domain is bringing, these 6-year characters, they are easily clearing, 25 million, 30 million with that support, and they are just hitting so damn hard. And when this Goku and Frieza fight comes out on global, and you guys are seeing AGL UI just like one-turn Goku and Frieza because of Tech UI's domain, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. But Evolution Blue Vegeta is basically a very similar skeleton to UI Goku, except he is just more consistent defensively, the same song and dance. You guys get the idea, right? I think this character is phenomenal, but you guys knew who number 1 was going to be, the head of your table, right? Beast Gohan. Just the best character in the game. I mean, there's just not much to talk about that you guys haven't heard a billion times at this point. Key support, damage reduction, guard, crit chance, guaranteed supers, high offense, high defense, taunt, utility, team protection. He's got it all. So I don't want to go too much into Beast Gohan. You guys know how he works. He's still the head of the table. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down below what you guys think of this little top 10 that we are doing here, again, in a tier list, because I don't want dislikes. So thank you guys for watching. Like I said, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, leave a like and subscribe if you are new so you don't miss out on any tier list in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.